From CNNmoney.com, a number of Americans fighting off hunger stayed level last year. Have you seen that out there? Have you seen people fighting off hunger? I see it all the time. I drive around, and I do drive. I do drive myself, and sometimes I look out the window. And a lot of people waving at me as I go by. And have you seen people fighting off hunger? I mean, you can actually see it. You go inside Publix or any grocery, you can see them walk down the aisles. They're reaching for something and they don't. It's an amazing thing to watch. People fighting off hunger. U.S. hunger remains at its highest levels in 15 years. I think one of the reasons, look at Richard Blumenthal. The guy's got to be hungry. He never eats. If Blumenthal would just swallow, maybe our hunger deficit would drop somewhat. I interrupted myself in the first sentence of this. The number of Americans fighting off hunger stayed level last year, though food insecurity, not to be confused with food justice, food insecurity rates remain the highest they have been since the federal government began keeping track of food insecurity 15 years ago. This from the Department of Agriculture. About 14.7% of U.S. households were food insecure in 2009. Well, it's not the food that's insecure. It's the people in the houses that are insecure about food. It means food insecurity means that people had difficulty feeding one or more of their members. What? 14.7% U.S. households food insecure, meaning they had difficulty feeding one or more of their members. At some point, whose member? Whose member eats? I mean, the way this is written, my friends, it's stunning here. Let me try this again. About 14.7%, and I'm just reading this for the first time, so bear with me. 14.7% of U.S. households were food insecure in 2009, meaning they had difficulty feeding one or more of their members. At some point last year, due to a lack of financial resources, according to the report, that equates to 17.4 million households total who are food insecure, roughly 45 million people. Households headed by single parents were more likely to struggle with food insecurity than those with two parents. I wonder why that is. Hunger-related issues were more prevalent among African American and Hispanic households than white. Well, of course, food's racist. We know that. Most of those classified as food insecure reported getting benefits, there it is again, from the federal government's three main anti-hunger initiatives, which apparently are utter failures. If we have three main anti-hunger initiatives to deal with food insecurity, and there's still 45 million households or people not feeding their members because of food insecurity, you'd have to say that the three government programs are failures, much like the Obama administration. You realize, folks, if Obama had just listened to me, he would not be a failure. If he had just listened to me, if he had just taken me up on my op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, on my way to stimulate the economy, if he had just listened to me, none of what we're going through now would we be going through. Do you notice Obama came home? I was stunned. He actually came home from Asia. And he's going back over to Europe. He's just passing through America. Probably needed some clean underwear. One of the reasons why he came home, heading back over to Europe now to deal with whatever economic strife he's causing there. They're in bad shape. I mean, folks, Europe is, I'm not finished with the food insecurity story either. Europe is scrambling now to deal with Greece, Ireland, Portugal. It's worse than they told them about Greece. The deficit, the debt situation there is worse than they told us. Ireland's on the brink. Portugal and Spain are nearing economic collapse. They have all spent themselves into bankruptcy. They have all followed liberalism off the economic cliff. China, the Chi-Coms are fighting inflation. The Chi-Coms may impose price controls. The world economy is weakening. Nobody knows where this is headed. There were warning signs everywhere, but our president, the lame duck Democrats, are not taking steps to deal with this looming economic storm. Now, the markets, the Chi-Com markets have tanked 3 days in a row. And by the way, food insecurity in China, you don't even want to go there. I mean, it's a major problem in China. It's not reported, but I mean, lots of food insecurity and Haiti. I mean, folks, if you want to talk about food insecurity plus cholera, first cholera outbreak in 40 years. And what's different? The UN finally went in there. So the UN caused a cholera outbreak in Haiti. Food insecurity, no food justice anywhere, China or Haiti. Now the Chi-Coms are their markets have tanked 3 days in a row. We're now below 11,000 on the Dow Jones Industrial Average as we speak tonight. At this moment, the Chi-Coms are tightening over there, which means that they are fighting inflation. That has caused or started the global effects, ripples from what the Chinese are doing being seen now. The Chi-Coms even said that they are looking at buying less USA treasuries. And so now Europe is in the midst of coming apart over Greece and Ireland, Portugal. Austria refused to send a bailout payment to Greece today. They said, no way, you're on your own. Austria, it's got its own problems anyway. So far, QE2 has been a negative, has had the absolute reverse effect. The dollar is way up. The market is way down. Interest rates on bonds are climbing. The yield is climbing. The exact opposite of what they all thought was going to happen is happening. It's an absolute mess. And Obama is going to stop in and visit America for a couple days between his vacation homes in Asia and in Europe. Now, we ought to be taking steps to strengthen our economy. And if Obama had listened to me or any other economic conservative, but of course, no other economic conservative had the guts to disagree with Obama at the outset, except for yours truly. Speaking of that, Lisa Murkowski. Let's get Lisa Murkowski said that Sarah Palin does not have the intellectual curiosity to be president. And last night on the CBS Evening News with the perky Katie Couric, Couric, it's audio soundbite number 6, Mike. The question from Couric, the message you're hearing loud and clear from voters is compromise. Is that right?
I will tell you, I am not one of those who wants Obama to fail. If he does well, that means the country's doing well. We don't have time as a nation to spend all of what we do blocking. We have got to figure out how we get to a point where we can be sitting around the table and talking about these difficult problems and advancing some solutions.
There you have it. Lisa Murkowski ran as a write-in candidate in Alaska with an absolute insane comment. Insane's not even the word. This is just, and I would trade Lisa Murkowski to the Democrats for Heath Shuler. You know, in a moment, and we'd be gaining a couple of IQ points. It's hard to believe, but we would be gaining a couple of IQ points in that trade. I'd give a Democrats Lisa Murkowski today for Heath Shuler, and I don't even want a draft choice in the next draft. Straight up deal. What a ludicrous thing to say. I will tell you, I'm not one of those who wants Obama to fail. If he does well, it means the country's doing well. Lisa, he is doing well. He is succeeding at what he wanted to do. He got his Obamacare. This is silly to keep reliving. We are surrounded by, I don't know what this is, a lack of knowledge. Is this ignorance? Is it pipe dream, Miss America type hopefulness? What is this? It certainly isn't intellectual curiosity. This isn't even intellectual. Lisa Murkowski, we got to figure out. We can't spend our time as a nation blocking. We damn well better, or there won't be a nation. What the hell was this election, Ms. Murkowski, if it wasn't blocking? Holy smokes. Now, back to the report on U.S. hunger. Thought I lost my place, but I didn't. The dirty little secret is the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, the National Screw-Lunch Program, and the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, better known as WIC, are all failing. Those 3 federal anti-hunger initiatives have not cured food insecurity. In a press release, the U.S. Department of Agriculture reported that 18.7% more people had participated in these programs in 2009 over 2008. Rates also rose for the free lunch program, up 5.4%, and the WIC program up 5.8%, and still food insecurity, which again is defined as households having difficulty feeding one or more of their members. At some point, have you ever been hungry? Well, I know, but everybody gets hungry, right? That's why people eat. How do you even calculate hunger? U.S. hunger. Hunger at some point's 100%. Virtually everybody on a diet is hungry, which is the point. Everybody on a diet goes to bed hungry, gets up hungry, and spends the whole day hungry, and is ticked off about it. You talk about food insecurity. Person on a diet goes to the drugstore, grocery store, and sees 99% of what he or she can't have. You want to talk depression? Look at it. Now, we can't have it both ways. We are either morbidly obese, fat slobs, needing the attention of the First Lady, Michelle My Belle Obama, or we are a hungry nation with food insecurity. Which is it? To say that there is hunger in America insults the starving people in this world. And there are people starving. And here we go, belly aching and whining and moaning about food insecurity. I'm beginning to think food insecurity is what causes obesity. There can be there can be no other explanation. If you're food insecure, what do? You eat. If you eat too much to deal with your food insecurity, then you get fat. Obese, whatever. Food insecurity is probably the leading cause of morbid obesity. Another thing, this study says that single-parent homes are more hungry than two-parent homes. Okay, so is that the real cause of this? Sure, a damn good one to look into, but they never address that problem. Why are there so many one-parent households? Well, it's just the way it is, Mr. Limbaugh. It's just the way it is. You have to learn to accept society as it is, caused by years and years and years of Reagan economics, Mr. Limbaugh. Okay, that's the way you look at it. So it seemed to me the solution is not to help people have two-parent homes. It's to give the single ones more of our money. Is that the solution here? More food programs, which thus encourages single-parent homes. If you are a single-parent home, you get more food goodies from the government than a two-parent home. So here you have the feds, the ruling elites, the food ruling elites to boot, never address the real reason why these things happen, because it points to their failures. Why do we have single parenthood? It's, one that's called abortion. It's called welfare programs. It's called the federal government's taken over the role of being father and husband.